Hello beautiful people and welcome to the channel, A Life After Narc. My name's Debbie and I talk about all things to do with narcissistic, abusive and toxic relationships, as well as looking at healing from them. And today's video, who will you be after the narcissist? So I'm taking a look at the changes in yourself after your narcissistic relationship and perhaps what you can expect to feel and expect to go through on this journey. Before I get into the video, if you enjoy it, please click the like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So, who will you be after the narcissist? I want you to think about who you were before you met the narcissist. You were probably happy, outgoing, self-confident. You probably worked. You enjoyed life. You loved your life. You had hobbies, you had interests. And then along came the narcissist. And you may not have realized at first that this person was a narcissist, and that's okay, because they are very, very good at hiding what they do from the world. Remember, they play the victim. They paint themselves as this wonderful being to other people, but the truth will out to you. So in the beginning of the relationship, oh, it's wonderful, isn't it? Love, hearts, cards, flowers, chocolate, dates, you know, all of these amazing, wonderful romantic things that the narcissist helps you with and brings into your life. And you think, wow, this is the person for me. This is who I'm supposed to be with. And that's what I thought. I thought, wow, this is the person I'm supposed to be with. There were things that happened and I thought, oh, that's a sign, that's a sign. I think on one level I was supposed to be with that person to learn, but not to be with them for life. So soon enough, the abuse will start, and it will be small things at the beginning, little things. And you may just go, oh, well, it's okay. You know, I can put up with that. It doesn't matter. It's only something that they've done now. And then as you move through the relationship, the abuse becomes more aggressive, more abusive. I noticed the abuse was there right at the beginning. But I forgave him because he said he wouldn't do it again. And that's what they always say. I won't do it again. I'm sorry. I love you. I didn't mean it. I was drunk, whatever. But they did it. And you accept them back because they've apologized. And you think you've put boundaries in place. But then later on, there's more abuse. So after my narcissistic ex and I were married, one day, it was soon after, he took our wedding rings and stamped on them on the kitchen floor, ruining them, breaking them, and also broke a couple of kitchen floor tiles. Afterwards, he realized what he'd done. He apologized, he fixed the tiles, and he went and got the rings repaired. But these sort of childish temper tantrums are what you can expect from the narcissist. And over time, they become worse. And over time, the gaslighting becomes more, the abuse becomes more, the control becomes more, and you don't realize what you have gone through. So before my relationship, I was outgoing, I was confident, I had friends. I was a yoga instructor. I was a Reiki master. I was a minister and a high priestess. I performed weddings and hand fastings and funeral rites and naming ceremonies. I had clients. I had my own business. And my life was good. I loved my life. I had many, many friends around the world. And then when the relationship started to change, I stopped teaching. Now, there were other reasons I stopped teaching yoga besides him, but there were health reasons. But I became a recluse. We moved into a house far away from, well, not that far away, I suppose, but far enough away from my friends. And part of the decision to move into this house was my own. And it became more and more abusive. We were now away from everybody else. There was nobody for me to run to. And over time, I changed. I lost my self-confidence. I lost myself. I didn't like myself anymore. I hated who I was. I became mentally ill. I suffered so much abuse that it changed me completely. I didn't go out. I didn't see my friends. I had no hobbies. I'd given up my hobbies. My life revolved around the narcissist. So when the narcissist left, I was lost. I was like, oh, what now? What do I do now? And one of his family members said in a message to me, "You've never done anything for yourself in your life." Well, that's so far from the truth. I moved from South Africa. I grew up in England and spent my teenage years and up to my 30s in South Africa. And then I moved back from South Africa to the UK on my own. I started my yoga business on my own. I had a business in South Africa that I started on my own. So the narcissist, remember, tells his family members and his friends that he's the victim and you're the perpetrator. Meanwhile, it's the other way around. And they will say anything to their family and friends to make you look like the bad person in the relationship, to make you look like you were at fault. So finding myself after this relationship was incredibly hard. I was depressed. I was lost. I was lonely. I was psychologically broken down. And here's a trigger warning, I tried to commit suicide several times. And some of them were during the relationship. And there was one time where I had tried to commit suicide. And he was sat downstairs, I was upstairs, and I was actually messaging friends through a social media app. And one of my friends contacted the authorities where I live and sent an ambulance out because I had OD'd. He knew nothing about it. He was sat downstairs, oblivious, or maybe he did know about it and he just didn't care. Either way, he did nothing to help me. It was all my fault. Just as every narcissist will tell you, you're at fault, they're the victim. I have, over the last year and a half, reinvented who I am. I am now all of those things that I was before my narcissistic relationship. I have all of that knowledge and experience from during the narcissistic relationship, and I am now finding myself again and becoming the person that I was meant to be all along. So my vision and journey is one of self-help, but now I want to help others. I want to set up a support group locally for women who have been abused. There is nothing in my area for that. I'm studying psychotherapy at the moment, and hopefully in 6 years' time, I'll be qualified. I'm doing it part-time. But I feel happy. I smile. I laugh. When he left, I was very hypervigilant. I was so scared that he was going to come and physically hurt me because he tried to do that before he left. And I was so afraid that he was going to do this and so afraid that I would suffer and, you know, that my emotional well-being, my mental health would be ruined. I started seeing a therapist. I was lucky enough that my family helped me with the finances to enable me to see a therapist. It's very, very difficult here in the UK to find a therapist through the NHS. That's our National Health Service. There is such a waiting list for mental health support. So I decided to seek private therapy, and I love it. It has taught me so much, all of which I knew already, But now I'm able to implement it. I'm able to see the wood through the trees. I'm able to see clearly. I'm able to see who I am becoming. And I'm becoming the person that I want to be. I'm taking care of my physical health. I'm taking care of my mental health. I have friends, new and old. I am going out. I'm spending time with other people. I haven't done that for years. I went to a music festival last month and there were thousands of people there. And at first I was a little bit overwhelmed. But then I realized, hang on, you've done this before. You used to sing in a band, Debs. You used to stand on a stage in front of people and sing. You used to stand in front of a yoga class and teach. So you can do it. You can find the new you. Remember, you were the person before you met the narcissist. You were the person during the relationship. And now you are a new person. You can find your self-confidence again. You can find yourself again. You are strong. You are powerful. You now know what to look for in one of those relationships. And you won't rush into it anymore because you know that you can be hurt so easily. Something that Dr. Ramani says, she's a YouTuber psychologist that I follow daily. I watch her videos daily. She's a great inspiration to me. And there are several others that I follow as well. And I can tell you now that if I hadn't watched her videos and videos like what I produce, I would not be where I am today. And it does change you. It does change who you are, but you become the better version of yourself. You recognize those red flags. You recognize those negative areas. You recognize the things, the red flags that you need to look for. She advises that you take at least a year after the relationship before you get into a new relationship. And I totally agree with that, because a rebound relationship is never good. And you'll be confused and hurt. And so it's a good idea to take that year to introspect, to build yourself back up to who you are now, to let go of those promises, the future faking that the narcissist did to you, to work through that abuse, work through the emotional abuse, the physical abuse, the psychological abuse, work through it all. Heal yourself. You will get through it, I promise. I really do promise that you will get through it. I'm brave, I'm strong, I'm enough, and I know that, and so do you. Just have to dig deep inside to find it. Remember, this is your new life. Welcome to the world. If you've enjoyed the video, please click the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you next time. Blessed be.